Tonight marks 1 year since tragedy unfolded in Orlando.
1 year since 49 lives taken during 3 hours of terror inside a popular nightclub. 1 year since those frantic phone calls to loved ones.
1 year since dozens of survivors were able to walk away, but from a night they'll never forget. 1 year since hundreds of first responders faced terror in their own city.
1 year since a community changed forever.
And tonight, we remember the victims and honor the survivors of the Pulse nightclub shooting 1 year later.
First Coast News begins with Heather Crawford reporting tonight from Orlando.
Good evening, and as we mark exactly 1 year since the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history at the Pulse nightclub here in Orlando, this community is determined not to let its legacy be defined by hate, but rather a legacy of unity and a legacy of love. And in just a few hours, thousands of people will be gathering here at Lake Eola for a remembrance ceremony. And this is where the names of those 49 innocent souls who died will be read. Now, I remember being outside of Pulse just hours after the tragedy. I will never forget the looks of the faces of the family and the friends waiting to find out if their loved ones made it out alive or if they'd perished inside of the nightclub. Now, I also remember seeing the first flower placed at a memorial in the heart of downtown and then talking to loved ones, hearing the stories of those who did not make it out alive and hearing the stories, the amazing stories of those who survived. But what I remember the most is this overwhelming sense of unity, a sense that love will always triumph over hate. And it is that same spirit that is continuing here today. Now, events started early this morning at Pulse nightclub. Today is all about remembering those 49 lives who died and also showing support for the survivors and saluting those amazing, courageous, brave, compassionate first responders who answered the call that night 1 year ago. Today, Governor Rick Scott has proclaimed it Pulse Remembrance Day, and he's ordered that flags across the state be flown at half-staff.
Javier Jorge Reyes, Giancarlos Nieves Rodriguez, Giancarlo Mendez Perez.
It was Latin night at Pulse nightclub when this tragedy unfolded 1 year ago, and those are some of the names being read aloud at a memorial service earlier today on the grounds of the former gay nightclub, honoring those who died. Now, organizers today have also been recognizing the first responders who rescued people. They confronted the gunmen and they treated the wounded as well as comforted the families of the dead. We heard today from the owner of Pulse nightclub who talked about the tragedy 1 year later.
I am grateful and comforted when I hear your memories and I see your pictures of the best times of your lives. It breaks my heart that your sanctuary was taken from you. But I know we are resilient, and I know we will not let hate win.
Now, for some of the survivors, it has just been too painful to return to the site of where that terror attack happened a year ago. But for others, going back there today is part of the healing process. Angel Santiago hid under a sink in a bathroom stall at Pulse nightclub. He listened to the gunfire get louder and louder.
In terms of survivors, I'm definitely one of the lucky ones because I sustained 2 shots. One in the knee went in and out, another on my left foot also went in and out. And yeah, I had to take time to recover, but you know, today I can pretty much do almost anything that I did before. So I have my mobility, I have my freedom and my independence, which is great. I can't say the same for others. So the physical aspect, thankfully, I'm doing all right. Obviously, there's an emotional toll, there's a psychological toll, and that's something that we're not going to get over in 1 year, 5 years, or even 10 years. You know, we don't know. For us, this is still ongoing.
Now, he says he's trying to stay focused on the positive, but especially on days like today, it is so hard not to relive what happened to him that night 1 year ago. He says that his life is vastly different than it was on June 11th, 2016. He says he never aspired to be an advocate, but since this happened to him, he now really feels a sense of responsibility to be an advocate and to advocate, to speak out against gun violence and hate. Continuing our team coverage now is First Coast News' Brittany Dion. Now, Brittany was here with me right after this terror attack happened, and today she went back to Pulse nightclub. And Brittany, I know a lot of raw emotion there today at the scene.
Absolutely, Heather. It's a very eerie feeling being back here at the Pulse nightclub after that terror attack 1 year ago. And a lot of people that I have been speaking to tell me that what they have been doing is trying to find the strength to keep going. Come with me just really quickly. We'll take you over to the area where a lot of folks are gathering. This fence is covering up the property. Behind here is Pulse nightclub. A lot of folks coming in with their children saying that they want to teach them different than this generation, teach them love, teach them unity, and teach them to love one another.
Guys, I need just to step back, please.
12 months, 365 days, 8,760 hours, 525,600 minutes.
It's like reliving that day all over again.
It's been 1 year since the terror attack inside of Pulse nightclub ended 49 lives and affected thousands of others.
I lost five beautiful people.
Orlando native and Pulse performer Giovanni Neves says he was supposed to party with friends the night of the attack.
And I never made it. And 1 year later to set foot back here on Pulse property, the rush of emotions, the feeling that they're never coming back. It kind of overwhelms you.
The same can be seen in the hundreds of others who gather at the corner of South Orange Avenue and East Esther Street.
There's just no words for the emotions of being in this place with these amazing people. The dogs. I didn't expect the dogs to be so emotional. It makes you realize how quick you can lose the things you love the most.
But with every month, day, hour, and minute comes the strength to persevere.
It's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to keep on living and loving. His plan failed, the devil's plan failed.
And Heather, as you heard this man that we just heard from at the end say, the devil's plan failed. Just taking one look at all of these people uniting, coming together, hugging one another, loving on each other. This is the after of what happened here. And this is something that they were talking about earlier in a program. They said that terrorism did not win here in Orlando, and they want people around the world to see how this community has come together to heal. And they say that it will take a long time before they feel normal again, but they are certainly leaning on each other for that strength, Heather.
And Brittany, what we heard him say, keep on living and loving, is something I have heard echoed over and over again over the past year. Now, one of the speakers at the ceremony that's going to happen in a few hours here at Lake Eola is Orlando City Commissioner Patty Sheehan. She is a close friend of the owner of Pulse nightclub, and I had a chance to catch up with her as she reflected on the past year.
Patty Sheehan woke up on June 12th last year to a flurry of frantic phone calls. A mass shooting in the district she represents at a club she knew well.
When I first got on scene, one of my friends who's a local reporter had called me and he was crying. And I was telling him, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And I looked down and I realized I was standing in blood on the street. And there was 2 bodies behind me. And I'd never seen anything like that. I mean, this is an area that I walk all the time. This is my district, and it had become a war zone.
As each hour went by, she waited for the victims' names to be released.
It was a horrible wait. I mean, we didn't know exactly how many until a couple hours later when the mayor said 50. And I was in that crowd when they said 50. And, you know, usually people from the media, they're kind of, stoic during these things. You could hear an audible gasp from everyone that was there. Nobody was detached from this. Everybody felt it.
Now, 1 year later, she will deliver a message of love in front of a crowd of thousands at Lake Eola.
We have got to reach out with love and stop the hatred and stop the violence. It's just killing too many people. And we, in Orlando, we're still having to find ways to give mental health service to take care of these victims. A year later, a lot of people have been able to move on. We haven't.
Now you heard her just say that no one could detach from this. And I can tell you firsthand, being here just hours after the tragedy, being on the ground here at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, I couldn't detach from it. It was so hard just seeing the grief on people's faces, talking to those who who had to wait in some cases 24 hours to find out if their sons or daughters or brothers or sisters made it out alive. It was very, very emotional, and being back here today in Orlando, it again is very emotional for so many in this community. Definitely something that we will never ever forget, and that's what today is all about remembering. Now, Commissioner Sheehan was quick to point out to me that she doesn't want today to be called an anniversary, because she says anniversaries are all about celebrating. This is not a day about celebrating. This is a day about remembering those lives who were lost. I also had a chance to catch up with the mayor of Orlando, Buddy Dyer, and talk about what he remembers. And he says as the days have gone by and the months have gone by, this tragedy actually has hit closer to home, because in the beginning he was in leadership mode, but as the months have gone on, he's allowed himself to get more emotional. And he talked to me about the lessons learned. Take a listen.
Main lesson was it could happen anywhere. If it could happen in the happiest place on earth, then it can happen in any city in America, and you need to be prepared for that.
Do you worry about another terrorist attack happening here?
You know, you can't worry about it every day. What you can do is prepare in the best way that you can, because if you worry all the time about something like that, then the haters and the terrorists win. But if you're simply doing your job and providing the OPD with all the tools and training and technology that they need, doing what you need to do as a community, getting as much intel information as you possibly can, that's what you need to do.
Now, the mayor told me that he has never said the shooter's name because he doesn't want the focus to be on the shooter. His focus is on helping this community come together and heal. And you will hear more from Mayor Buddy Dyer tonight at 5:30. You'll also hear from another survivor who made it out alive from the Pulse nightclub 1 year ago. And we'll tell you what you can do in Jacksonville right now to help. Jeannie and Anthony, back to you.
Thank you.